I'm in a good spot physically, mentally, and in control of my emotions to where the kick in the first quarter that's still worth 3 points is the same for me as the game winner at the end of the game, which is also worth 3 points.
Today is Friday, October 5th. This is the Cowboys Beat on CLNS Media. I'm Ari Temkin. Crazy good show for you today, as always. Shouldn't even have to say that at this point. Brett Maher, the hero from Sunday's victory over Detroit, will join us to talk about how nervous he was before the kick. And also in advance of Texas OU weekend here in Dallas, Connor Williams, starting left guard of the Dallas Cowboys, joins the show, the rookie left guard as well. So we're loaded up today, and for the third straight week and seemingly perpetually the common discussion here on the Cowboys Beat, the offense. And 2 weeks ago, I made the case that the Cowboys missed Dez Bryant and that they were clearly in need of some sort of an option on the outside to sort of keep defenses honest. Well, this week, Dez Bryant made headlines again by tweeting out a video of himself working out, and then when somebody asked him where he was going to sign, he basically said that he was still interested in Dallas. He was hoping to sign there, but if not, he was ready and willing to sign somewhere else, which is interesting because, I mean, he was cut, and it's not the offseason. So, like, what would lead him to believe that he could return to a team that cut him a few months back? Like, it's bizarre, right? Like, they cut you, meaning they no longer want you to play for the team. So you go out in free agency now, and you're searching for a new franchise, a new team, and now months pass. They're a month into the season, and he's still like, well, I'd like to play for the Cowboys. Well, yeah, I mean, so would I. What exactly are you talking about? They broke up with you. So you, like, and the only thing I could think of, would be if Jerry Jones, who we saw at the Beyonce Jay-Z concert with Dez, if Jerry said to him, look, Dez, if there's a situation that goes and makes sense for you, go and sign there. But I wanted you. Some other guys didn't. But if the offense continues to sputter, then I can go back to Steven and Jason and basically make lobby for you. Like, that's the only possible thing that I could think of for a guy that was cut by a team 5 weeks into the season, still holding on hope that team is still interested in him, despite the fact that they showed they weren't interested in him by cutting him. It makes no sense. So maybe there's a glimmer of hope, maybe a sliver of hope, based upon, I don't know, some Jerry Jones situation, some sort of hypothetical situation that I just concocted, because it's the only viable thing that I could possibly think of that would make sense, again, given the circumstance of, dude, they cut you. Like, what would indicate to you that they want you back? Not to say that they don't, but that's sort of the next point here. And 2 weeks ago, on the Cowboys Beat, I made the case the Cowboys missed Dez Bryant, and that so far, everything they sold us this offseason about being creative, being multiple, not wanting to have a guy like Dez who commands all this attention, who doesn't allow them to be creative, and on and on and on, right? Like that was what they sold us. Well, I mean, through 3 weeks, it looked like they were wrong. So 2 weeks ago, I argued that the Cowboys should bring back Dez, and today I'm going to argue that they shouldn't bring back Dez. Odd, right? So what changed my opinion in 2 weeks? The game we saw on Sunday. Because for the first time this season, we saw the potential of what this team could be. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Dez Bryant couldn't be a productive receiver for this team. In fact, he had 800 yards receiving last year and 6 touchdowns in a quote-unquote down year. And I don't think any of the receivers in the current roster are on a pace for anything close to those numbers. So it's clear that he'd bring production and ability to the table. But the reason that I look at the Detroit game on Sunday, the win, the 26-24 victory for the Cowboys, improving them to 2-2, And the reason that's an argument for me for why they don't need Dez and why I'm now going away from that, which 2 weeks ago I argued that they should bring back Dez, was because the first 3 weeks of the season, we hadn't seen anything from this offense that gave us any indication that this was different. The things that they were saying all offseason, training camp, et cetera, right? Like, no, it's going to be different. We're going to have interchangeable pieces. We're going to be more creative. And we're going to do all these different things, and we can't just have a guy at the X slot that's constantly demanding the football, that's constantly in Dak's ear telling him, I'm one-on-one, I got the one-on-one matchup on the outside, go look for me. They wanted to be able to have Dak survey the whole field, look for different reads, and maybe most importantly, also get Zeke Elliott involved in the passing game. 3 weeks in, and it was like, this isn't what you told us? This isn't what we thought we were getting? This is basically last year's offense. And now it just doesn't have Dez. So you're clearly missing your number one. So I argued, bring back Dez, because they had nothing that resembled anything they said they were going to do. But last week we saw it. We saw pre-snap motion. We saw play action. We saw Zeke Elliott be involved in the passing game. What we saw was 1 week. And I get it, it's just 1 week. But what we saw should give us some optimism about this offense moving forward. It's not just about winning, right? It's more about how they won that should give you some optimism moving forward, considering we were pretty down on this offense. And how shouldn't we have been? They were averaging 13.7 points per game before last week. So I don't know what changed. I don't know why all of a sudden they felt like they needed to unveil these new pieces and wrinkles to their offense in week 4 and where it was in the previous weeks. I don't know if we're going to see it Sunday night against Houston. I certainly hope we do. But as long as they're running the offense that we saw Sunday at noon against the Detroit Lions, this Cowboys team doesn't need Dez. Because for the exact reasons that they laid out in the preseason, for the exact reasons that they laid out during training camp, when you line up a Tavon Austin in the X receiver slot, and then you run him in motion and fake the jet sweep to him, and now the defense tries to protect the edge on the right side because that's where he's running towards, and instead you fake that jet sweep to Tavon on the right side and then hand off to Zeke going left side. And then when the defense is thinking that that's going to happen, you do the opposite, which is you sort of run him in motion, and then you give him the jet sweep, and then run Zeke to the left side so that they think it might be Zeke. We saw that. But more important than that, we saw Beasley in the X slot run motion jet sweep, and then we saw Zeke sort of peel out into the flat, catch a football, and run 21 yards for a touchdown. We saw Jeff Swim do the exact same thing and run 31 yards in the first quarter. We saw Zeke Elliott lined up in an empty back formation in the slot and catch a ridiculously important pass. We saw all the things that the Cowboys told us we were going to see for the first time this season, and it looked good. Was it perfect? No. Tavon Austin dropped a touchdown pass that he feigned an injury on, and it was a perfectly placed ball. Dak found Michael Gallup deep down the field. So, the knocks on this Cowboys offense that have been prevalent, rightfully so, the first 3 weeks of the season were silent this week. Dak Prescott, his normal Thursday press conference with the media. Last week, vastly different press conference than what we heard this week. Last week it was about, well, there's going to be new wrinkles. We hear about new wrinkles. He's going to throw the ball down the field. What's going to change about this offense in week 4 that we hadn't seen the 3 previous weeks? And well, he said we're going to sling it. I hope we do. Those kinds of things. This week, there's a lot less of that. This week it was about crowd noise and dealing with Houston's, tough place to play sort of mentality on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas team. We heard about, the offense continuing to evolve. We didn't hear about sort of the criticisms that we've heard throughout the first 3 weeks of the season on Dak Prescott. Now look, Dak Prescott played his best game of the season, week 4. But a big piece of that is to the creativity, wow, of Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett in the offensive game plan that they designed against Detroit. It was 1 week. It was just 1 week. But in that week, we saw more from this Cowboys offense to give us optimism for the future. So why no Dez? Well, because Dez within the offensive ecosystem that we saw on last Sunday, that's not an offense that's built for him. It's not an offense when you've got slot receivers traditionally lining up in the X, running fake jet sweeps. It's not. It's Zeke Elliott had his best offensive output of his career on Sunday. 240 total yards. He had 152 rushing yards and 88 receiving yards. Do you think it's a coincidence that this guy's been an unbelievable monster for the Cowboys through 3 years, but it's in year 3 without Dez that he puts up his biggest numbers production-wise? Most production output for an entire career, year 3 without Dez? I mean, this guy was a beast his rookie year, was he not? I know he missed some time last year, but he was still a beast when he was out there. The game plan now flows through Zeke, whereas before the game plan might have flowed a little bit through Zeke, but if Dez Bryant was on the outside with one-on-one matchup, now he's calling for the football. There were different components of the offense that they could not utilize with Dez Bryant. It's not a knock on Dez Bryant. I guess maybe it is. But it certainly is a positive for what they thought was in the best interests of their quarterback in Dak Prescott. And through 3 weeks, I wasn't buying it. But after week 4, I absolutely am. So, I suppose we'll have to see and wait patiently to see if it holds up. Week 5 in a sort of must-win game against the Houston Texans. We'll preview that game coming up in a moment. Also, Connor Williams will be on the show. But coming up next, it's Brett Maher, the Cowboys rookie kicker, who earned his stars on Sunday by kicking the game winner, a 38-yarder that secured the Cowboys' second victory of the season. And before we visit with Brett Maher and what kind of nerves he was going through before that kick, but first let me tell you about the perfect luggage. And look, I'm not exaggerating when I say it's the last piece of luggage I will ever have to own. You know, all those times you travel and you seem to just like not have enough of what you need, you know, whatever it is. And it's not like you blame your suitcase because it's not the suitcase's fault. Basically, all suitcases have always been built the same way, right? Away travel brings you unbelievable luxury in a suitcase that you never thought you needed but now can't live without. It's the absolute perfect luggage. Here's what I'm talking about. Lightweight piece of luggage, but it's not breakable. Like it's lightweight, but the materials that they use make it so strong that it can hold up. It can hold up to the wear and tear. I know of suitcases I've spent a lot of money on that just don't hold up to wear and tear. Well, the away luggage does. How about the unbelievable bag built in that allows you to store dirty laundry? I mean, away travel has thought of everything you could possibly ever need while traveling with your luggage. How about a carry-on piece of luggage that is able to charge all cell phones, tablets, e-readers, and anything else that's powered by USB cord? A single charge of the Away carry-on will charge your iPhone 5 times. Go to awaytravel.com/beat and check out what Away Travel has for you as far as luggage. The carry-on, the bigger carry-on, the medium, or the large. I have the carry-on. I love it. It's perfect size. Again, it has that great durable outer shell. It has the German polycarbonate, unrivaled in strength and impact resistance and very lightweight. The interior features a patent-pending compression system, helpful for the overpackers like me. Sometimes I'm trying to pack in all these things, and you try to expand the zipper, and the zipper breaks because, it's unbelievable how much you can get into this carry-on piece of luggage while not threatening the integrity of the piece of luggage. They also have TSA-approved combination lock built into the top of the bag to prevent theft. Removable washable laundry bag keeps dirty clothes separate from clean. They've thought of everything, and here's the best part. Go to awaytravel.com/beat. Find the one that's perfect for you. Use promo code BEAT. Get $20 off your order. And here's the deal. 100-day trial. Live with it, vibe with it, travel with it, Instagram it. If at any point you decide it's not for you, return it for a full refund. No questions asked. That's how confident Away Travel is in their luggage. They know what I know, which is that you're going to get it. You're going to realize how unbelievable it is to own a piece of luggage like this, and you're going to buy Away Travel as long as you need to travel. Away Travel, they've thought of everything. Go to awaytravel.com/beat. And again, use promo code BEAT, BEAT, get $20 off your first order. Lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they're going to fix it forever, guaranteed, and a 100-day trial. Go to awaytravel.com/beat. That's awaytravel.com/beat and start traveling and living a better life with your luggage. The luggage you thought you never needed, but now you can't live without. It's the perfect piece of luggage. awaytravel.com/beat, promo code BEAT. All right, let's talk now with Brett Maher on the Cowboys beat and rookie place kicker. And Brett, never a doubt, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I felt comfortable the whole game. Obviously, the operation has been really good all year. Chris and LP have a lot to do with my success as well. So, yeah, it was comfortable. I thought we handled the situation well.
You think everybody else in the stadium was more nervous than you were?
I don't know. I don't try and guess what other people are feeling.
Well, I mean, but as far as your nerves are concerned,
I felt good. You know, I felt good throughout the whole game.
That doesn't change, you know, when it's like, all right, it's up to me now to win this game.
I try and have a big emphasis on, you know, making every kick, you know, important and doing everything the same. So I think for me to get wrapped up into that, I think would be kind of a slippery slope for me.
But after it went through, was it? I mean, everybody, you know, crowded you, and what was that elation like?
Yeah, that was exciting. It's exciting because you know I see the guys work every day, and I know the time that they put in, and for me to be able to do my part and you know, get a big win for us and celebrate with them afterwards is pretty special.
How much have you changed since you got here? Have you?
I don't feel like I have. I guess you'd have to ask other people about that.
As far as the left hash, right hash, does that stuff matter?
Not really. I mean, I get to pick on extra points. Typically, I pick left hash unless, you know, there's some elements or something outside. But you know, not really. No. the posts stay the same size on each hash. So.
But I mean, look, I've never been a professional athlete, but I would imagine those kinds of things can be, you know, psychologically can give you a mental edge. I don't know. Maybe it's for me. Maybe that's why I wasn't a very good athlete.
You know, I don't know. I don't want to make it sound too simple, I guess, but I think for me, when I feel comfortable, when I feel like I'm in control of what I need to do, it doesn't really matter where the ball is. I'm in a good spot physically, mentally, and in control of my emotions to where the kick in the first quarter that's still worth 3 points is the same for me as the game winner at the end of the game, which is also worth 3 points.
Do you think kicking in Canada makes it easier to kick here?
I think the experience, you know,
Not the goal. I mean, isn't it more narrow?
No, goalposts are the same. The hashes are wider. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I guess the angles are a little bit sharper. But, you know, for me, just the experience of, you know, 4 years of professional football up there and kind of what goes along with that, I'd say was more valuable for me.
So what do you like? What kind of things do you like to do?
I like to golf. I like to hang out with my wife and my kids. Listen to music, watch movies or shows or something like that. That's
what kind of music?
Really anything. I'd say mostly country, but you know, I like 90s hip hop a little bit as well to kind of throw it in there. But yeah, I'd say if I had to pick one, it'd be country. But there's a little mix of everything.
What kind of shows are you watching right now? What shows are you watching right now?
More of the classics. My wife and I got through Game of Thrones a little while back. That was our last big one.
So you started from the beginning?
We started from the beginning. We watched
and you're all the way through now?
Yeah, we did it in the off season. It took us, I don't know, maybe a month and a half or so to get through. But that was kind of we got two little girls, and we'd put them to bed, and that was kind of our thing. So we were a little sleep deprived there for a little while, but it was fun.
So do you like where it's at right now?
Yeah, I do. I'm excited. I think the next one comes out in like January or something. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know when the last season ended, it was like it'll be 2 years before it's back.
Yeah, I know. I think it's early 2019 if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Who are you rooting for?
I don't know.
It's okay with Cersei. I kind of like Cersei.
Yeah,
She's kind of a
I
badass.
don't know if I don't know. I don't think I'm rooting for her. I'm kind of I'm a Jon Snow fan, I guess, if I had to pick. Yeah.
For nobility, that's what you're going
Yeah,
for.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you.
You got it. Nice
to talk to you.
You got it.
It's Cowboys rookie place kicker Brett Maher joining us on the Cowboys beat. Very even-keeled. Didn't even try to acknowledge that it was a big kick. It's like, looked at me like, well, it's just the same as every other kick, and don't treat it any other way. So there you go. It's Brett Maher joining us. Got to tell you about BetDSI.com. They've been paying winners for 20 years. Top rated on betting site reviews. Use your sports knowledge to make some extra cash. Go online on their easy-to-use mobile site. Fastest payouts in the industry. Play, win, get paid. It's that easy. BetDSI.com offers betting options for everything. Bet on football and other major sports, politics, reality television, esports. You could bet on virtually anything. Try live betting at BetDSI.com, or you can bet on every play, every drive, and every score until the final whistle blows. Use promo code Cowboys18, and your first time deposit gets you a 100% bonus match on your money up to $500. Cowboys18, that's the promo code. I play there myself, and I recommend BetDSI if you want to add some excitement to the games you're watching. So go to BetDSI.com now. Use promo code Cowboys18. Get this limited time 100% bonus up to $500. Again, Cowboys18 is the promo code at BetDSI.com. It's only a game until you bet at BetDSI. I want to get into a preview of the game, Texans and Cowboys, which we'll do in a moment. First, let's chat with Connor Williams, the Cowboys rookie left guard. And so, Connor, are you going to go to the game Saturday, Texas OU, Red River rivalry? You going to go?
No, I'm going to be here.
You're going to be here?
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win, Texas or OU?
Texas. Not really a question. What?
Is that the most fun you've ever had in college football, playing that game?
I'd say it's probably second. Notre Dame game was probably my first. But second probably be the Texas OU my freshman year.
How's this year been going for you with the transition?
It's been good. It's been very smooth and definitely a lot to improve on and to get better on, but it's going well so far.
What's it been like playing next to Looney? And obviously you don't have familiarity with Frederick, having not played with him, but what's it been like playing next to Looney and getting the calls and that kind of thing?
I mean, Looney, there's no drop-off from Looney and Travis. Looney's stepped in and done a great job. And just to have their experience and Tyron on my left, it makes it so much more better for me.
What's it like for Tyron as a leader? What's he like as a leader?
He's quiet and he leads by example. He definitely does his job every play, day in and day out. And so just leads by example on and off the field.
What kind of a challenge does this Texans defensive front present?
They're very well-respected defensive front and definitely bring our A game, but at the same time, we just got to do our job and execute.
Have you, having played tackle in college, have you, watched Watt even when you were at Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch him a lot?
No, not too much.
No, you didn't?
No.
You didn't spend any time watching him?
No.
What about this week?
You definitely watched him. As I've watched all the defensive players, he's definitely a strong, big guy.
Is he different than Clowney?
They definitely have their different expertises. Clowney's more of a speed edge rusher, outside linebacker, and Watt's more of a D lineman.
Thanks, Connor.
Connor Williams is going to have to hold up pretty strong against a very, very good and disruptive pass rush for the Houston Texans. When I look at this game, Texans-Cowboys Sunday Night Football, pregame, by the way, starts at 4 o'clock on your home of the Dallas Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan, locally in DFW, and across the Dallas Cowboys radio network. I'm 3-1 picking games for the Cowboys this year. I picked them to beat the Panthers, I picked them to beat the Giants, picked them to lose to Seattle, and picked them to beat Detroit. So I'm 3-1. And I have no clue on how to pick this game. Because there are certain areas where it heavily favors the Texans. For instance, the Texans' offense has put up 414 yards per game, which is fifth in the NFL. And this, despite Deshaun Watson being sacked the most times in the NFL, he's faced pressure on 38% of his dropbacks, which is number one in the NFL. So they have a bad offensive line. He's been sacked a ton, and they're still putting up tons of yardage. So on the one hand, it's like, well, the Cowboys' pass rush should be able to tee up and get after Deshaun Watson. On the other side, teams have done that, and yet they're still putting up yardage and points. They're averaging 24 points a game. And here's the other thing about the Texans' offense. It is explosive. They have DeAndre Hopkins, who's arguably the best receiver in the game. Will Fuller, who has been limited in practice all week, but with a hamstring issue, but looks like he's going to play. And then last week they unveiled Kiki Kuti, the rookie wide receiver out of Texas Tech, who had 15 targets, 11 receptions last week for 109 yards. And, you have Fuller, who's the speedster. He takes the top off. DeAndre Hopkins, who can basically do anything. And then, those guys are your deep threats. And then Kiki Kuti, who sort of patrols the underneath and intermediate routes. So it sort of nullifies their horribly inefficient running game, at least with their running backs. Deshaun Watson's able to put up a lot of yards on the ground, but they just can't run with their running backs. So the big problem that I see with Deshaun Watson's arm and the receivers they have is they make big plays. Deshaun Watson, 64% of his completions this season are 10 yards or more. Last year, he led the league in downfield passes. 14% of Deshaun Watson's total passes were 20-plus yards down the field. 14%. The average in the NFL was 8.8%. So this year, 61% of his completions are 10 yards or more. Again, this is a team that takes a lot of shots down the field and has a lot of big plays and puts up big-time yardage because of it. What scares me is this Cowboys defense, the last 2 weeks, they've had some breakdowns within their secondary that have led to big plays with Detroit last week and Seattle the week before. That's the biggest concern that I have. Is it looks like the Texans are primed to make big plays against a safety group that's kind of unstable and has been gashed the last couple of weeks. So even though the Cowboys have a really, really good pass rush and should be able to get home on Deshaun Watson, to me that's sort of nullified because Watson still puts up yardage regardless of that. And the Cowboys have been inconsistent, especially in recent history, in the back end of their defense. So that makes me very, very pessimistic. What makes me optimistic is their defense has not been very good, the Texans. Now, it's strength on strength insofar as the Texans' rush defense has been good, and obviously going up against a Cowboys rush offense that's the best in football. And the Cowboys' pass offense is not very good, and it's going up against a Texans' pass defense that's not very good. So it's strength on strength, weakness on weakness. But what makes me optimistic is if the Cowboys protect well, if they can hold up against J.J. Watt, who in the last couple of weeks is looking more and more like J.J. Watt, and Jadeveon Clowney, that's as dynamic of a pass rush as the Cowboys have seen. And look, you look at the 2 losses this year, you're talking about going up against talented defenses with really good pass rushers. Frank Clark was a major problem for the Cowboys in the Seattle game, and so was Kuechly and the pass rush of the Carolina Panthers. They got after Dak. That's where this game is going to be won. That's the area that's, when you look at, of greatest concern. When Dak Prescott has been rushed and has been in trouble, Cowboys have lost. Their offense has sputtered and put up 13.7 points per game. But when they haven't, when he's had time and a clean pocket and he's been able to survey the field, the Cowboys have put up 20-plus points a game in those matchups. So it's just that simple to me. If they can protect Dak, keep him clean, for the most part, then Dak should have a pretty good football game. And then I will believe that the Cowboys' offense can put up points to match the Texans' offense, because that's what it comes down to. The Texans' offense is going to get theirs, even if the Cowboys are able to get after Deshaun Watson. That's what history tells us. Watson can still put up yardage and points, even though he's facing the most pressure in the NFL and is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Though that's the case, and they're still 5th in yardage and 14th in points. 24 points per game. That's the magic number. That's what the Texans are putting up on average. 24 points a game. Cowboys gave up 24 points in back-to-back weeks. They won one of those games, and they lost one of those games. The difference is Dak couldn't stand up against that Seattle defense, but didn't really face much pressure at all last week against Detroit and scored 26 because of it. That's where this game will be won or lost for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, I'm Ari Temkin. Thank you for listening to the Cowboys Beat this week and each and every week. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet already. And, of course, please give us a rating. That always helps when it comes to people searching out Cowboys podcasts in this vast, wide space that is the podcast world. Also a reminder that I stream live every single day. You want to talk Cowboys? Go to facebook.com/watchphantom, Phantom. At 12 o'clock Central, I go live for an hour. I answer your Cowboys questions. We talk Cowboys every day, Monday through Friday. Facebook.com/watchphantom, Phantom. So make sure to check out that. And, of course, the Dallas Cowboys pre- and post-game show, 105 through the Fan locally in DFW. And across all of the Dallas Cowboys radio networks, there's over 300 Cowboys affiliates across the country, including one in Houston. So make sure to check us out there. And, of course, you can tweet me questions, thoughts, feelings. You hate the show, you love the show, whatever, at RE Sports, ARI Sports. But that's it for me this week. Enjoy the game on Sunday night, the Battle of Texas. Texans and Cowboys. Again, the pregame show starts at 4 o'clock Central on the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. But for now, I'm out. Peace.